they're starting on, there's less utility from the McCree because a lot more open spaces. Oasis is just perfect for him because you come around a corner, stun whoever you want. A little bit more difficult for the Deadeye, but he was able to make it work even then, so I'd be even more scared of him here. And the Reaper did not go nearly as well for him, and I kind of saw that was definitely a secondary choice for him. So, you know, maybe that is his one factor that makes him as good as he is. So potentially removing the McCree could be the bane of his existence. Fingers crossed there for Boise State.
And I would actually really want to see a dive composition because McCree is one of those heroes that can't really get away from the dive composition. And it's really incumbent on his team to protect him when the Boise State team goes in. So you require of the enemy team more coordination, and you kind of put that challenge out there. Can you fight together like we do? And it'll be interesting to see. And the other thing that I want to see, well, I guess if we do see a Reinhardt, I want to see the shield stay up more and not even bothering to drop it for the Flame Strike, because every time that went down, it was disastrous for Boise State, even if it was just for a moment.
I don't even want to see, I was going to say, I don't even want to see the Reinhardt. I want to see Pyros on the Winston, not only for the mobility in this map, but all of the vantage points. Reinhardt is just not going to get where he needs to in time. And also, I just love Pyros on Winston. He plays an incredible one. We are already getting started with the action. Our supports are taking a little bit of damage, but Psycho took enough that we backed him away, and already Solar Space is going to be taking down Karina. Fantastic. It's a back and forth. Solar Space is picking up all of those eliminations. By the way, he did sub in for Brady. Pyros taking down Omni there, and this is just such a back and forth. Boise State seems to be ahead on this one, though. Now just a few members of Sacramento State alive in this area. Boise State should have enough time to take this over if they're able to quickly get this elimination, but no. D.Va's just playing with her.
Well, yeah, they're going to stall out
the D.Va.
Which is really important there because the spawn advantage is for the attacking team. So they wanted to make it so that for them to regroup as a full team, for it to be as long as possible so that their teammates could get back.
It is possible, though, with the way that this team is split, that, I mean, the D.Va, obviously great for the aggression and for the engage, but if Psycho can get a good enough jump on them, I mean, the choice makes sense, and it makes even more sense now because we have all of these ultimates available. Solar Space is going to pop to Infrasight as Sacramento State members start draining into this point, and now D.Va is immediately running after them.
Oh, wow, they're all fudged up here. And Winston is just going to tear that team apart with that Primal Rage. And Daresang actually goes off the edge, and Solar Space is going to get taken out by the opposing Winston. Mr. Psychofire also going down. Some kind of crazy Bupocalypse has gone through, and Boise State seems to have lost this fight, and probably this first point, unless they can regroup, because the entire time while they were winning that fight, they were not taking the point, which does give Boise State the option to try and hold for one last moment, but they're not going to take it.
And an unfortunate burn on that Transcendence. They're just coming in a bit too late when Boise State was already down.
And not only that, but Pyros aggressing as hard as he did to get after the Zarya and to capitalize on those final eliminations ended up not working in their favor at all, because you're not going to get the damage down that you need to, even with the Primal Rage as the Zarya. Pyros, though, is doing some aggression. However, he is getting flanked from behind as this D.Va sits behind him. He's going to have to escape, is getting enough healing from Mercy that he can stay in the game, and we might see a Pulse Bomb here from Daresang, who is still at full health, but they're going to try to have to find a little window to engage here as this payload is moving forward.
And there goes in the Winston. Solar Space going to take out that Zenyatta, and wow, Boise State going to turn this fight in their favor. They knew that they were down by one, and now Boise State is just going to get just enough eliminations that they can back off and take the win. The Primal Rage coming through and going to boop the Zarya off the edge.
Nice.
Oh, Pyros. You're an animal, Winston, to quote Tracer.
I was going to say a moment or two too late on that Primal Rage, but it was specifically just to try to get the boop, and specifically on that Zarya, makes it a lot easier for Solar Space to do his job on that backline.
One of the things that we didn't mention is Solar Space subbed in for
I did have a second Brady. Yeah, Solar Space did sub in for Brady. Yeah, I have to. But
the
now
dive goes in.
Pyros is jumping up from above. They did not see him there, and only the D.Va sees him now. He's able to stay quite healthy, and that D.Va is going to dedicate herself to try to eliminate him. But he is just going to ignore her. Leap away, was not able to stay alive, and it looks like most of Boise State was eliminated there as the Winston was trying to just go towards that back line. So a great pick out from the opposing D.Va.
Yeah, that's right. They moved the Winston off their team by dropping the Transcendence and actually using it in an aggressive way once they knew that the Winston wasn't with his team to protect them. And normally the Winston would be there disrupting the team, not allowing them to go aggressive. But because of that Transcendence, they could just ignore him. He had to run away, and it was disaster for Boise State. They lost that second point, which is a hard one to hold in the first place. Now Boise State setting up for this last point. This is a hard one to take on the offense. Winston's going to jump on top of Pyros and is actually absorbing stuff with the Zarya shield. Now Boise State's gone full dive, and now they're going to have to run away. Oh, the Ziva bomb!
3 ultimates from the opposing side going off there. Psycho is going to take out Solar Space with that Primal Rage, but Pyros is now moving in. Daresang throws the Pulse Bomb and takes out Garena. Psycho, however, takes down Daresang, no longer in the fight. Now Pyros is going to pop his Primal Rage in an attempt to get the boop off here, and it does not look like he is able to. Not a wasted ultimate there for sure, but he is too low to do anything. Now the Transcendence on the opposing side is going to mean Pyros is just in a state of defense at this point. They're saying doing as much damage as possible. Grey Girl is going to bring the other support back into this fight, but Sacramento State has taken the reins on this one, and now a rally comes out from Omi as Daresang takes a lot of damage, almost healed by that Mercy, but was taken down.
Boise State trying to stabilize, though. They might have the opportunity to. They have that Wrecking Ball rolling around, and now lots of people are going down. The Mei goes down, and oh man. Mr. Psychofire actually boosted off because he thought he was going to have teammates there to protect the payload, and didn't manage to stall any longer.
I want to bring up something that I noticed there in terms of two patterns I've noticed over the past few games is that in the very critical moment, in the decisive moment where this fight could decide the game, we've seen Sac State in both scenarios with 5 or more ultimates stacked up all ready to go. And that raises the question of ultimate management in the game. How much is too much? When are you using too many ultimates to take a fight versus too few? Such as we were talking about, did that Primal Rage come out maybe a little too late? Even though it was a great moment seeing it get knocked off.
Right, but 1 elimination versus potentially 2 or even 3 when he was engaging on them, you know, that's definitely a toss-up in the air, and it's difficult to determine, too, whether or not they're really utilizing it correctly, but we can tell that Sac State is using theirs correctly. They are managing theirs perfectly, and the charges on them are just so incredibly fast as well. It seems like they have almost 2 ultimates by the time Boise State is able to get their 1. And it seemed like a lot of the same problems from that Oasis map are transferring here. And so Boise State just needs to clean up a little bit. We're seeing a lot of Pyros trying to do some flanking, but it's flanking when his team is being engaged in a rest on, and he really needs to be there to soak up more of the damage or take aggression, because he ends up getting wiped out by 1 D.Va while trying to deal damage to the entire team. It just doesn't work that way. Maybe if the electric the gun, maybe if it was, you know,
the Tesla cannon.
Thank you, the Tesla cannon. Maybe if it was a single target, the fact that it spreads is great, yes, but it also detriments you when you're going in on 5 members and can't deal enough damage to a single target to actually make a difference here.
And now the Boise State team is snaking around the far left-hand side. Boise State is in a position to aggress here. They're going to see if they can draw that Sacramento State team down onto the point. And now they're actually going after one of the flankers, that Tracer. Boise State has not made an aggressive, and actually Daresang going to take out the Genji, but in response, Thunderhorn has gone down. And now Solar Space, another one. I think Solar Space might have won this fight single-handedly. There's a third, there's a fourth. Solar Space, you're insane! And talk about carrying the team. Solar Space finally goes down, but it's too little too late for the Sacramento team, because if you're the last member taking down Solar Space, that's not enough. Solar Space has already eliminated the rest of your team.
And he probably could have gotten away there, but he was all right with going down, because at that point, he'd essentially gotten the entire team to eliminate Sac State. A great move there, and a great move putting Solar Space in, because they know how solid of a Widowmaker he is. I could just watch him play Widow all day long.
It's like, no matter how the match is going, you occasionally just get little bursts of dopamine to keep you feeling good if you got a good Widow playing for you.
Right.
And I was wondering what Boise State was doing playing so passively. They were waiting for the picks to come through from the Widowmaker, and then they got dived on and did a perfect counter dive in addition to having Solar Space just take out the entire team.
And having this Pharma as well, this Pharma composition, means that this Mercy can sit back and pay attention specifically to Solar Space, and they're saying Solar Space is taking quite a bit of damage, and Thunderhorn is going to go down, but Pyros and Daresang have something to say about them being eliminated. Solar Space, Daresang taking down another one, and Pyros and Solar Space are all over this map, all over the eliminations. The Valkyrie did go up there, but now we are able to hold on to an Infrasight, which is great for this team trying to re-engage as a full 5-man. It is going to be popped right now, and then a self-destruct available from Mr. Psycho Fire.
And I think that because of the infrared sight, the Sacramento team is just going to entirely forfeit this second point. It's a hard one to hold anyways, and they say, we don't want to go into that and feed any more ult charge. Oh, but it looks like they are going to try and take one last fight, and that's not going to be advantageous to them. They are going to drop 2 ultimates into it, and now it's 2-2. Boise State has been demexed, but Daresang has the advantage of height and an ultimate. I think Boise State might come out ahead on this. They have taken down 2, and that is a little bit disastrous for the Sacramento State team. They lose the point. They still lost the point. They lost a lot of ultimates, and Boise State committed almost nothing to that.
Yes, and it might have been a better idea for Daresang to have used his ultimate at the initial engage in that fight, because really nobody had spotted him out. He was getting some great shots, decided to hold on to it maybe, but was not able to get into a position where he would face multiple members and be able to hit them all with that. But the pressure is on now. Pyros is on fire, and we do still have those 2 ultimates available. So who knows? We might see Daresang just eliminate the entire team, and I'll be eating my words on him saving that barrage.
And Daresang actually going for a health pack instead of waiting for the Mercy to grab him. But now Pyros has actually gone in, taking out 2 with his Primal Rage. Boise State ultimates across the board. Bob came through, but Mr. Psycho Fire grabs 2. Solar Space is going to pick up the last one, and that's going to be a 1 round for Boise State with so much time on the clock, unless there's the Wrecking Ball. That's the kind of composition that you can see that will hold on to the point for just a bit longer. Maybe they can stabilize, but in comes the Rocket Barrage. Down goes Daresang, though, and oh my goodness, Boise State, they've lost the round, or this fight. I thought it was won. Turns out I was wrong.
It is so tough to get that final push when the spawn point is right there. Pyros was trying to be a little bit sneaky, but is so low on health he has to back out. 16-player kill streak here from Solar Space, so we are seeing double digits from pretty much everyone on Boise State, but now is the time for them to go down. Thunderhorn does have a Transcendence available, and we do have Valkyrie here too, so 2 support ultimates. But Boise State wants to be aggressive here because they need to push this payload the last couple of meters. They cannot go in 1 by 1 though. They need to maybe find a pick out or a good angle to aggress from, and Sacramento State knows that this is going on.
And because of that forced hero switching, they're actually holding an ultimate advantage. But my goodness, the base going to grab Thunderhorn. Nobody protects them. And that's going to be a terrible start to this fight. Boise State is going to try and back out, it seems, but can they make it out safely? Pyros is going to jump away, and I think the rest of the team has just kind of scattered, and that's not going to be exactly what Boise State was looking for. And Sacramento State really improvising well with this off-team composition. You don't normally want a Wrecking Ball at this point. You only want it at the very, very end.
Well, and it was the very, very end for them. So at this point now, they're just sticking because it works, because Boise State really doesn't know how to respond to Giga. He's doing a great job of utilizing the mobility to get in just long enough to annoy Boise State, and then out quickly enough to really not take any damage here. So it is now ticking down. Pyros is going to take so much damage. Does
but
pop
no,
the
he can turn
Mage.
it around if he doesn't get frozen for too long. He's got so much space to work with. Now he's going to back out. The Primal Rage barely saving his life. He lost nearly 1,500 health there. And now Pyros is turning around the damage onto the Sacramento State team, but he's very low. Boise State, what are they going to do here? Psycho is blocking all of the sniper shots with that shield. The Mr. Psycho Fire going to get demech, is not going to drop the ultimate for the remech, and Boise State, the rest of the team, is going to go down.
And now we're in the same situation that we were in with the last 2 matches too. 4 whole ultimates ready for Sac State to use here.
And we saw Daresang hold on to that ultimate for so long. I'm almost positive that he could have gotten a secondary charge after using it, because it was 2 to 3 separate team fights that he tried to hold on just to get into a good position, but was obviously focused very heavily because he's a Pharah.
And now, are they going to go into the trap room? I don't think that they will. McCree can 1v1 that May, given the opportunity, if he plays it just perfectly, but the Diva Bomb not going to grab anyone. Boise State very happy with that pickup. basically just pressure grab the ultimate without having to drop anything else into it. Daresang goes very low solar space as well, and here comes the Wrecking Ball trying to just grab some damage, but no, Primal Rage goes in. Boise State is trying to make the Enrage. Oh, that wasn't the Primal Rage, my bad. But
the self-destruct does go out, and Mr. Psycho Fire is able to get back in the mech without picking up an elimination. Has to immediately engage here, and now they are pushing Wrecking Ball back. Mr. Psycho Fire has slid to the back line, but a wall goes up to prevent him to deal damage. The ultimate from Mei could be very dangerous here. Mr. Psycho Fire trying to escape, but Daresang and Pyros are actually going to take two while the aggression stays on that D.Va. Mirage still available here. Solar Space has one, and Draygirl still has that Valkyrie. So some potential here, as well as Pyros at 99%. Some potential for one final push as 36 seconds are left on the clock here. Omi getting so low, and the Mirage is going to come out. That's more of what we wanted to see, a sneaky one. Two members taken down, Solar Space and Daresang both taking one for themselves. The Deadeye does come out and does some damage, but does not take out an elimination. Pyros is able to clean some of this up, and now Solar Space is trying to deal as much flanking damage as he can. But this is where things get tricky because they are now pushing this point back up to where they had it, again, right at the spawn point for Sac State.
And Sacramento State has that composition to roll out as quickly as they can with the Wrecking Ball, with the Mei. Lucio's going to drop the peak. Boise State has a lot of shields and health to go through if they're going to win this fight. And Daresang is already down. There is an ultimate. The D.Va Bomb's going to grab one. Pyros turns 1 kill around. That's going to be down 2-1. And oh no, Mei's going to grab another. Pyros gets slammed by the Reinhardt, and now it's only Mr. Psycho Fire, and I don't think he's going to make it. That's a hard minefield to go through. Boise State is not going to turn it around. They were so close to going up 2 minutes, but Sacramento State made an incredible turnaround, stabilizing the point and holding for the rest of the round.
Yeah, they did have plenty of time on that, but they were able to hold it, and Pyros is going to pick up the play of the game here. Even though they did not get the W on this map, they are going to take the play of the game here, and Pyros deserves it, being on fire the majority of that. Looks like, wow, we had those almost 2 boops right there. So we know how much Boise State loves to boop, and in particular Pyros when using that Primal Rage. And I don't want to say again, we saw a little bit of what you were talking about, the ultimate mismanagement.
Right.
But it seemed to be a factor that led to the team's demise multiple times.
Well, might I point out what I think, we just saw the play of the game, what I think would be a good nomination for the anti-play of the game would be the moment when Boise State is about to make that final push. They've got 2 ultimates in their pocket. I'm on the edge of my seat, leaning ready. We're seeing it from Thunderhorn's perspective. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see a little blue stream, only to turn around and see the icy glare of death right in my face, and
prevented multiple ultimates at that point. And the barrage as well, because we kind of saw that engage with the Fire from up top. Of the barrage as the Wrecking Ball was coming out, because she was dealing damage to one of the squishier members there, and then turned on 2 members of Sac State and used it there, but they were just too tanky to do anything. It might have been a better idea to actually use it at the beginning. Again, it seemed like they were doing a good job of holding on, trying to get to a position to use it, but they never ended up getting there. And after the first or second failure of being able to achieve a solid enough location to utilize it, you might as well just try to get whatever you can. Yes, 3-4 eliminations is the best, but if you can get one, it's better than dying before you can even use it.